It's Thursday afternoon. I'm working in the pharmacy near my house. I'm doing the regular errands. I'm dispensing the medication. I'm dealing with patient queries. And then lunchtime hits. And I think to myself, fuck, this can't be my life. Being pushed by Karen so I can hit the daily quotas. Waiting till 6 p.m. so I can fucking leave. Being stuck between those same four walls from 9 till 5. Feeling like a prisoner wearing a fucking jumpsuit. It's not the one, man. It's not the one. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful that I got the job that I have, especially in this economy. But this wasn't my dream since I was young. No matter how else I looked at it, I still feel like a slave, wasting my time and my energy and my attention just to make somebody else rich. Now, I've always dabbled in the idea of having passive income, but that night I did heavy research into the topic. I came across a familiar term called financial freedom. It's basically having enough financial resources to live the life you want without relying on a traditional 9-to-5 job. And when I read that term, I thought to myself, yeah, that's what I need. If I had enough financial assets bringing me money, say property, stocks, what have you, I can quit my job easily and I can pursue the things I really want to pursue in life. I was reading this book, Psychology of Money, and I came across this psychologist named Angus Campbell. He discovered that a common denominator of what makes someone happy in life is their autonomy, their ability to do what they want, when they want. He says money's greatest intrinsic value is its ability to give you control over your time, to obtain bit by bit a level of independence and autonomy that comes from unspent assets that give you greater control over what you can do and when you can do it. I mean, that should resonate with me. I knew my time on this earth was limited. If I kept on wasting it between these four walls, I was going to be unhappy for the rest of my life. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 principles that I've applied so far in my journey towards financial freedom. Principle number 1, you have to treat your money like employees. You have to treat your money the same way your boss treats you. Think about it. A boss can push you to hit certain deadlines, make you work overtime if they want you to, basically have you do more than what you're being paid. Why? Because the more service you do, the more output you produce. Therefore, the more money the company makes, and therefore the more money the boss makes. And the boss does this all from the comfort of their own home. And the more work you do, the less likely they have to move a finger to work themselves. This is the kind of relationship you want with your money. Instead of you work for it, it works for you. Now the question is, how do we get this? Well, you have to invest your money into something called assets. And these are basically resources with economic value that are expected to rise in value over time. Now the more assets you have in your arsenal, the more likely you are to gain and maintain financial freedom in the long run. One is not enough. Think of your financial freedom as a stool and the legs on the stool as the assets. If you've got multiple legs on the stool, it's more likely to function. But if you've only got one leg on that stool, it's most likely going to break when someone tries to sit on it. Now to get started, there's various assets you can invest into. To name a few, property, stock market, you can even make an online course. For me, I'm trying to get onto the property ladder. But to do that, I have to get a band 7 pharmacist role. The reason being is because I get paid more. If I get paid more, the bank's more likely to give me a higher loan. With a higher loan, I can rent out a bigger house, rent out more rooms, have more passive income. Yeah, that's a plan. So my advice is to first focus on one asset first, and when you're comfortable maintaining that one, move on to the next one. Principle number 2, networking with like-minded individuals. You have to surround yourself with other people who talk about 6-figure income, passive incomes, financial freedom, becoming rich, becoming a billionaire, trillionaire, whatever. Now these people, they don't have to be rich themselves, but they have to be warriors who are hungry to get out of the 9-to-5 as much as you are. They have to be guys who on a regular basis, you guys are talking about crypto, stocks, property, trading, anything to do with money. There's a quote you probably heard before that goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you can spend your time around 5 financial hungry go-getters, then you're more likely to be financially free in a couple of years. But if you surround yourself around 5 unambitious, unrisky soy boys who always blame their finances on the economy, then you're going to end up a broke pussy in a couple of years. So choose your friends wisely, man, because they can either make you hope or leave you broke. As we speak, I'm trying to make a group of cold-blooded asset hunters. I'm talking crypto, property, stocks, all that shit. I actually met a new man at the hospital I work at a couple of weeks ago, and we're on the same journey. He wants to get out of the grind, leave the rat race. He introduced me into cryptocurrency, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know anything about Binance, about MetaMask, Ethereum. Now you can meet people anywhere, to be honest, but my advice is to start off at a business networking event. Principle number 3, be patient. We live in a world where gratification is so instant now that we forget that some of the best rewards come later in life. I mean, think about how long it took me to become a pharmacist. I had 1 foundation year, 4 years of pharmacy school, 1 pre-registration year. That shit was long, but if I quit halfway through, I wouldn't be where I am now. Now in the book Psychology of Money, it brings up the story of 2 men. Now the first person was Ronald Reed. He was a janitor for most of his life, but throughout his career, he slowly invested bits of his money away that compounded over the decades. By the time he passed away, it turns out he accumulated $8 million. Now on the flip side, the book talks about another man, Richard Fusco. This guy had a great financial career, he retired in his 40s, and he had a good life for the most part. But then his greed got the best of him. This guy borrowed a heavy amount of money that he invested into his 18,000 square foot house. I'm not sure the exact cost, but I know he ended up paying 90k a month to maintain all the shit. But because it left him in debt and he had a lot of illiquid assets, come the owner and crash, he became bankrupt. The moral of both stories being, be more patient like Ronald and less impatient like Richard. To become more patient, you have to adopt practices that delay gratification, that make you wait for the reward later down the line. That might involve going to the gym to further your six-pack journey instead of going to the club of your mates. That might even involve meditating to reach more mental clarity instead of watching TV. Yeah, there's a bunch of other ones you can try, but pick whichever one suits you best. And there you have it. Those are my 3 principles. Treat your money like employees, network of like-minded individuals, and be more patient. Apply these carefully in life, and I'm sure you become financially free quicker than you think. Anyway, that's it for me today. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.